All right, let's talk about something that every creator, entrepreneur, and innovator struggles with. How do you take that brilliant idea that's stuck in your head and prove it's actually, well, brilliant? Today, we're going to walk through the ultimate guide to doing just that. You know the feeling, right? That light bulb moment. You're in the shower, on a run, and bam, the idea hits you. And you just know it's the next big thing.
But here's the million-dollar question. How do you know for sure if it's a real game changer or just a cool thought? Well, here's the secret. You don't guess, you prove it. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
We're talking about a process called validation. Honestly, just think of it as a reality check. It's all about testing your biggest what-ifs, your riskiest assumptions, before you sink a ton of time, money, and energy into building something that nobody actually wants.
So here's our game plan. We've got 4 simple stages. First, we're going to lay the groundwork. Then, we'll get into designing your experiment. After that, we'll figure out what to measure. And finally, we'll turn all that data into a real decision.
Okay, so first up, laying the groundwork. And I can't stress this enough, this is the foundation for everything. You get this part right, and the rest of the process becomes so much easier.
The groundwork really boils down to answering 3 simple but super important questions before you do anything else. What exactly are you trying to prove? How are you going to test it? And who are you going to test it with?
So what are you validating? You've got to focus, because you can't test everything at once. Are you just trying to prove that this problem you think people have is a real problem? Or maybe that your solution actually works? Or maybe it's as simple as, hey, will people pay this much for it? Pick one clear objective.
Once you know what you're testing, you need to figure out how. Think of these as the different tools in your validation toolbox. A simple survey is great for gauging early interest. A prototype test lets people actually play with your idea. And if you're feeling really confident, taking pre-orders is the ultimate test. Will people put their money where their mouth is?
Now, this might just be the most important step of all. You have to test with the right people. You know, getting feedback from your friends and family is nice, but it isn't real validation. You need to get crystal clear on who your target audience is so the data you collect is actually meaningful.
With our foundation set, it's time for part 2, designing your experiment. This is where we take our plan and start drawing the actual blueprint for the test.
And we're going to break this down into 3 super manageable steps. First, you'll map out the entire process from start to finish. Then, you'll pick the right tools for the job. And finally, you're going to set a strict timeline to make sure you get answers fast.
And here's the best part. You don't need a huge budget for this. Seriously, free tools like Google Forms are perfect for surveys. Figma lets you build these incredible clickable prototypes without writing a single line of code. And Stripe makes it ridiculously easy to test if people are actually willing to pull out their credit cards.
A timeline is absolutely critical. It keeps you focused and keeps the momentum going. This isn't some never-ending research project. Think of it as a sprint. A 3-week plan like this is fantastic. 1 week to set up, 1 week to run the test, and 1 week to figure out what it all means.
All right, your experiment is all designed. Now for section 3, measuring what matters. In other words, how are you going to keep score? How will you know for sure if your idea passed the test?
See, success is rarely just one number. You're really looking for a mix of signals. The hard data, like conversion rates, tells you what people are doing. But the qualitative feedback, the stuff they actually say, that tells you why they're doing it. And trust me, the why is where the gold is buried.
This brings us to the final and most important phase, from data to decision. This is the payoff. This is where all your hard work turns into a clear, actionable path forward.
Now here's the pro move. You need to make the decision before you see the results. You have to define what success looks like ahead of time. For instance, if we get 10% of people to sign up, we move forward. By setting clear pass-fail criteria now, you avoid that temptation to find a way to make the results look good later.
So the crucial point is this. Both outcomes are a win. Seriously, if your validation succeeds, fantastic. You've taken a huge amount of risk off the table and you can move forward with confidence. And if it fails, that is also a massive win. You just saved yourself an incredible amount of time and money you would have wasted building the wrong thing.
This whole framework, every single step we've just walked through, is all meticulously designed to lead you to the answer of one single, profoundly important question.
And it all comes down to this. Before you build anything, you have to ask yourself, is this the right way to test our most critical assumption? Answering that is what separates the ideas that change the world from the ones that just stay ideas. So what's yours?